Wake up with Carson Daly.
Ladies and gentlemen, our first guest.
He is definitely back with a bang.
Our next guest, a great producer, a great songwriter, a great arranger, a great all-round fellow.
Yo, get the stretch.
It just gets better now. Our next guest.
Welcome,
Ladies and gentlemen, Mark Ronson.
Mark Ronson.
Mark Ronson.
Mark Ronson.
A great all-around fellow is here. Mark Ronson on Amp Radio Live at 8:13. Carson Daly, producer Angie. Mark, good to see you, my man.
Good to see. That's such a nice intro.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you. You deserve it. You have, man. I remember back in the day in the late '90s when I was at MTV. You just couldn't go into a club, without if you were behind the wheels, it was on. I mean,
Yes.
It was like that was. Do you remember those days? What were those days like for you, DJing in New York?
It was such a great time for New York because you had like kind of the, Jay-Z was just getting massive. I guess Biggie, Puffy, all that stuff. New York was such a great creative place, and I'd be DJing these clubs as this 23-year-old kid, and my heroes are coming in, and it was a great mix of people and the music, and it still is. But I mean, especially in that era,
That was when Jay-Z was really just becoming kind of the king, But you would have such an interesting style. I always remembered loving, your depth of knowledge of not just hip hop, but then like you would throw in a lot of 70s rock and stuff, kind of before the mashup thing became as prolific as it is now. Where did all that come from?
That came from, well, I was always, a massive fan of like rock and that stuff growing up, playing guitar in bands. So when I was DJing, I've probably been DJing, playing hip hop for about 6-7 years. And then, you get a little, you want to branch out or just expand it. And I just thought like, it'd be great if I could play some of that stuff in the clubs and at the same time. DJ AM was doing that in LA, who was, I think, one of the greatest DJs ever, certainly the best to do that kind of mix. And it was great, and it sort of caught on. People seemed to dig it, and before you knew it, it'd be like Method Man and Lil' Kim were like dancing on banquettes to Joan Jett.
Yeah, I miss those days.
Yeah.
Those are the good old days.
Cool.
We're listening to just some of the artists that you've worked with. When did you start working with such a large variety of artists? I heard the Paul McCartney track that you did, and then you go back and you hear ODB, and like where does it stop? How are you able to be so versatile that you're the producer people want to call, and it really your phone career could be anybody?
I think I just genuinely grew up loving all those kinds of music. I mean, I don't see them as being so different. Like I love drums and like an incredible groove, and that is probably maybe the bridge between the stuff I might do for Old Dirty Bastard or for Paul McCartney. I feel pretty grateful I get to work with all those people, and I sort of have to, or I'd probably like explode or something.
This is your fourth studio record, Uptown Special. I want to just get right into that in a second, and I'm going to play this mystical track, which is just on fire.
Yeah,
I mean, the Bruno
cool.
Mars thing is unbelievable too. But let me just go back. There's probably not a day that goes by that I don't miss Amy Winehouse and her music. And I'm sure it's the same for you, producing so much off that great record, Back to Black. Mm-hmm. Give me something on Amy, because I never really had the pleasure.
Just what she was like?
Yes, anything. I mean, anything you could tell me about Amy.
She was just, you would have loved her. She was just like incredibly charming. She's so funny. She had like a razor sharp wit. She's the greatest voice I've ever recorded. She's pretty great. She's pretty like down to earth. She liked to like make home cooked meals of meatballs for friends and stuff. She was pretty like, aside from being this massive iconic legendary figure, she was also a bit of like a den mother. Took care of all these people. There'd always be like 13, 14 people sleeping on the floor in her house in Camden and stuff. She was like, she took care of people.
That Back to Black record just holds through the test of time forever and ever and ever. And we've seen a big resurgence of this, really thanks to Bruno Mars and then Justin Timberlake and even the more recent stuff from Meghan Trainor. We're seeing this love of embracing soul music. Certainly EDM brings a lot of the production elements into it, but there's this nice dichotomy of classic great soul music with technology, really. Yeah. But Amy's stuff somewhere right in the middle there with soul that's timeless.
Yeah, she just wrote amazing songs. It was so real deal, like I'd see her write. I think she wrote Back to Black, the song, in about an hour and a half. Like I came up with the music and she wrote the lyrics. Like when she came, it was like, we always think that there's this thing like when you write a song, it's like this sudden inspiration from the heavens and you just write it in 20 minutes, but it's not. It's like a bunch of dudes of us sitting in rooms for 3 months trying to get this thing perfect. But with her, it was really just like she had these kind of like crazy divine bouts of inspiration. She'd write incredible music.
Incredible. Listen, Bruno Mars, speaking of which, Tell me about Uptown Funk. How did this come together? Did the song exist first and then you got him, or how'd that work?
No, it was really just a thing that we all wrote together. So Jeff Basker, who produced the album with me, as well as Bruno, who produced that song. So we were just jamming in Bruno's studio just here in LA, and Bruno was on drums, Jeff's on synths, and I was playing guitar. And we just found this groove and kind of wrote the first verse, and along with Phil from the Smeezingtons, and then it took about 7 months after that to finish the song, because Bruno was on tour, I was running around, we wanted to get it perfect. We knew it's something like a little bit of a different sound for now, so you really have to make sure, like, it's great hooks in a row, and you can kind of like, to make sure like it gets through the door. So, and I love it. It's one of my favorite things I hear. And I love like when I see someone on Twitter say like, oh, I love the part when the drummer goes to the ride at the end of the song, and I'm thinking like, that's just Bruno. Like, I love it's us playing the song. Right. It's not like the old legendary dudes. Like,
it was fun to see you up there too. I saw on SNL and The Voice too. And what about the other tracks on the album? It's out today. It's called Uptown Special. Where do you want to start? I mean, let's start with the Mystical track, because Mystical, how did he re-enter your world?
Mystical put out this great record about 2 years ago, this little underground record called Hit Me, and all my DJ friends and everyone loved it, and it had this kind of James Brown vibe. And we were driving through the South, Jeff Basker and myself, looking for singers earlier this year, and we basically just showed up at Mystical's producer's house in the middle of the night in Baton Rouge, KLC, and we were like, hey, can you invite Mystical to come over?
You didn't know him and to call him? And
no. So we just thought, we had a mutual friend, and so we just went, and then we hung out with him, and then he came to Memphis when we were recording the album, and him and Bruno and Phil wrote Feel Right in like 2 hours, and I wasn't even in the room, and I came back in, and it sounded like they were having the world's greatest party, and I was like walking in the room, I was like, what are you guys doing in here? And they're like, oh, we wrote a song, and they played it for me, and it was incredible.
You knew about his troubles, obviously. I'd read an article about him. Mystical served some time for some issues, but then when he got out, he was like, I did so much jail time, I forgot all about the success I'd had in the late 90s.
Yeah.
And he seems to have this new sort of revamped hunger to sort of make it again. Maybe that was inspiration for that album.
I think so.
But you can hear him on this just like a good rapper. And for me, I mean, from the East, to me, it's always lyrics first, a little bit production second, because I got to hear where you're coming from.
Yeah.
And with Mystical, he sounds hungry again.
He sounds hungry, and he was like the great rappers sort of from that era, like Busta Rhymes and stuff. And even Lil Wayne today, like, you could say ridiculously silly things and still sound hard. Like,
right.
Mystical says stuff like,
I'm waiting for my Uber man.
Yeah.
Got a call for an Uber man.
He says something I watched on YouTube with it recently, or Mystical is like, I was in the forest fighting a lion. You better go worry about the lion. Like,
just finish my banana, man.
Exactly.
Gotta eat some cereal. I mean, this track, is this the next single? Because if it's not, this thing, I mean, how do you follow Uptown Funk? How do you follow that? And you can follow it with this.
Well, let's do it then. It's from your...
But we edited it. We had to mess with the music a little bit because it's filthy. Let me just play a little bit in full. So I want people in their car to just get into it.
For the prince of the South. They dabba through this bitch I just got out. Still rapping, slapping kittens and grabbing my clutch. I'm the artist, the golf artist, the hard as a rock. You gon' up around and make me knockin' fruit juice loose. Banana, your watermelon, and pomegranate too. Rhyming kung fu, that split bamboo.
Pretty sure he just said Fruit Loops.
I've been bad, bro. What you getting mad for? I won't have to fuck you up. I eat flames up, it's fire out. Make me light my butt. Excuse me, with me, I got a lot of debate. All they have a fucking dollhouse like Snoopy. Curtains go up, it's going down to that thing out the frame with my bang. Ow. Come on. Feel right in this motherfucker. Feel good in this motherfucker. My whole hood in this motherfucker. And we gon' rock this motherfucker. Feel right in this motherfucker. Feel good in this motherfucker. My whole hood in this motherfucker. And we gon' rock this motherfucker. And we gon' rock this motherfucker.
Some of the lyrics are, I eat flames up and S fire out. I eat flames up and poop fire out. Don't make me light my butt.
Yeah.
You're right. He is literally saying some silly stuff in this song.
That's awesome. It's amazing. I don't know. Like, he must be... I think he was probably incredible at like English in school or something. Like, he's got some really awesome, clever references, and his delivery, and that was all one take as well. Like, he came out of the booth and he was like drenched in sweat, like he just played a 2-hour show, you know, like he puts it all into the performance, and it was great to do the song with him.
That's a great song, Mark. We're talking to Mark Ronson live on Amp Radio at 822. What else on the record? How are you going to tour this record with so many featured artists on it? Do you tour, or are you going to...
I would love to tour, but that's something I'm still trying to work out. So, I mean, it would be great to do like one show where we have Bruno, Mystical, and Kevin from Tame Impala and stuff, but right now it's still a pipe dream in my head. I'm just so excited I got all these people on the record. I don't want to get too greedy.
Stevie Wonder on the record, that's huge.
Stevie Wonder.
That's awesome.
Is Stevie your favorite of all time? One of them?
He's my favorite of all time, and I sent him a letter, and I said...
This is a Stevie track on it right here, Crack the Pearl.
Even hearing his harmonica, like just knowing like he's on my record, it still freaks me out. Like he's my favorite ever, and I sent him the song and I said, listen, you know, you're my favorite artist of all time, and it would be my dream to have you play on the record. And then I didn't hear anything, and then 4 months later I just get this call and it's like, hey, book Stevie's studio in Chicago on Thursday. And that was it, and I got it, and it was the most incredible. I think it's the best thing that'll ever happen to me. I don't know if
it's all downhill from there, right?
Pretty much.
I think what I like most about your music and just listening to all of it, I mean, if we were listening back to the Christina tracks, I mean, just how diverse it all is, Lil Wayne, we heard a Nas track, is at the center of it all is a great respect for... It's so authentic. That's the word that keeps coming to mind to me. There's so much authenticity in your music.
Right. Thank you.
I was at UCLA the other day in the music section there talking to one of the music professors, and they have a great music school, and about 140 people can get in this school.
Wow.
And there's so much music theory that they teach, and everything really goes back in music to classical music, you know? Mm-hmm. And I was talking to a couple of students there, and I was like, does it drive you crazy to listen to the radio and you hear these young pop stars, and they probably can't even read music? Mm-hmm. We live in such a diverse world of just musicality, and then there's people like yourself. I mean, how do you sort of just size it up as far as pop culture is concerned?
I think it's all about, man, like a good song is a good song. Like some of my favorite producers don't know how to read music. They're making all this stuff in computers, whether it's Hudson Mohawk or, you know, it's my favorite hip hop producers. I think it's like, it's great to know that theory. It can't make you make a great song, but I guess it's like, I still love to learn, so I still sit home at home, like teaching myself songs on the piano and trying to learn how to read sheet music and do all that stuff better. But authenticity just comes from within, I think, maybe not so much being taught.
Do you get, you DJ'd for so long, do you see like David Guetta and all these DJs now, because EDM's become, the DJ has become such the new rock star, and they command so much money, and they're all over the globe. Is there a part of you that misses some of that, the jet setting and maybe you still do some of the Ibiza gigs and things like that, or do you prefer the studio and driving through the South and going to Mystical's house in
Manager's
Manager's house?
I really love both, you know. I mean, because I don't really play that kind of really anthemic big EDM, I've never been on that like level even of those guys, but you know, I know Calvin well from England. We got signed to Columbia at the same time, and you know, I'm super happy for all his success. I think he's a great producer. For me, no, I'm not really. I like DJing in sweaty clubs, like when I'm like literally set up on turntables in the corner, like, and no one can see where I am, and you're just rocking the party. That's my favorite way to DJ.
What about new voices? When you hear new stuff last year, like a Sam Smith or something like that, you hear a new, hot, young, authentic voice and go, I got to find this guy. I want to work with him.
I do sometimes, for sure. And then one of the things that we did with this girl, Kiani, who's playing in the background, this song, we drove through the South to go to 30, 40 churches and all these nightclubs in the deep South.
What were you looking for in the South, by the way? Was that a real quest to find a female voice?
It was, actually. We wrote this song, I Can't Lose, and we thought, who's going to sing it? And Jeff Basker said in the middle of the night, oh man, we got to get in a car and let's drive through the deep South, and we'll call it Mississippi Mission or Church Idol or something. And
wow.
we'll go.
You could have just watched my show, The Voice, and found somebody. I would have.
You would have found him already.
So you went to church. You were on a real quest
to find like an amazing like female, you know, soul diva, and we found this girl.
This is the girl, huh?
Jackson, Mississippi, and she's fantastic, and she's on the album and a couple tracks. And
is she signed now?
She's signed to us. Yeah. We're gonna make a record, me and Jeff, for her as well. Trombone Shorty on the longest trumpet note ever.
You just know all the good studio guys, right? All the session players, all the great musicians, all these guys.
I think so. I mean, I'm such a fan, like, even since I was a kid, like, reading liner notes on albums and seeing who played what. And I'm kind of lucky. I don't know why, because I've traveled around or something. I've met these great players in New Orleans or, Los Angeles and New York, different places. So, yeah, I'm really lucky to work with some great musicians.
Did you record? I would have liked to have seen like the Foo Fighters did. Did you record your trip to the South? Look, that would have been a really good content.
We did. Are
you going to put that out episodically or something? That's a good idea.
I think we're going to do something.
If not, I'll steal it.
Yeah, I think we're going to do something as a mini documentary for the record, because we did drive all through the South, and there's great footage of, recording in Memphis at the studio where they did Al Green and, all this great classic stuff. So.
Well, listen, man, you're really on to it. I love your work. I really do. If this were KCRW, I'd keep you here for 2 hours and we just play all this music and talk with ill regard for commercials. But
that's okay.
I'm going to let you go.
Thank you for giving those songs actually as much airtime. I get a real kick out of hearing like Jeff Basker's psychedelic vocals playing on 97.1 right now.
You gotta love it. You gotta love it, man. We're big fans. Uptown Special is the record released today. Pick it up. It is well worth it. I mean, if you're a music fan or if you're new to Mark Ronson's work, pick it up. You will not be disappointed. It's something that you should own if you care at all about music.
Wow.
Thank you, Mark.
Thanks so much, Carson.
I'm not going to ask you why you have a high fade haircut, but I'm sure it's for a good reason.
Yeah, check out Ellen later today, and it will be revealed.
Right. We'll watch you on Ellen. Mark Ronson on Amp Radio. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you so much.
The most music every hour with Carson Daly, 97.1 Amp Radio.